Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
My name's Ellie, and I'm a codependent. Wow, what a nice group. You know, Roy, thank you. The way you kind of morphed into how this all came about, and Katie, it just was so comfortable, made me feel relaxed, and but that's shifted now. I'm not. I mean, I have a hanky up here like my mom has in case I throw up, but okay. So I'm just going to read a little. I mean, as you kept introducing people to read stuff, I go, oh my God, not this now, not this now. I'm a little unnerved, but you know, we're all here together for the same reason. A lot of sick, recovering people in here. And so I'm just going to read a little, just to get my engines going. Okay, I want to thank the committee for asking me to speak. Thank you, Jean-Noel. I also want to thank everyone involved with putting on the conference. And none of this would happen unless we are true to our values and traditions of this program, making sure we're sticking to the first tradition. Our personal recovery depends upon CoDA. Oops. CoDA. Rewind. I'll get to that in a minute, to CoDA unity. Okay. I get this as I stand here. A loving higher power is here watching us desire those healthy and loving relationships. None of us govern. We are trusted servants. And we carry the message to other codependents who still suffer. That would be me. I mentioned the traditions up front because before I get to I'm not sure how to weave the traditions into my talk, but I just, they're important to me. I just, you know, thank goodness for the traditions and keeping us, I guess, alive, healthy, and honest. I was fine when I was asked to speak a while ago, and now that it's here, it's like, my husband asked me this morning, he goes, how long do you have to speak? And I said 45 minutes. He goes, the State of the Union message is not even 45 minutes. He says, nobody is that interesting, so. But we have a really good relationship. I mean, on the way over, he dropped me off. He's not even here. He's so not into my program. He's normal. How I ended up with a normal man, I do not know. But I was telling him how to get here. I was a little bit on edge, so I got a little obnoxious. And he goes, why don't you, what did he call me? Okay, Miss Bossy McCrabapple. But because of this program, I said, can I repeat that? And he goes, well, I don't want people to think I'm putting you down or whatever. And I said, no, I said, it's this program that gets us to have this intimate relationship where you understand me so well and my disease that you can, you know, kid, and I know you're kidding. You know, I might not have, when he used to yell at me, and I used to be really bossy, it was not such a pretty picture. Anyway, okay, so where am I? I'm, you know, my denial patterns. I minimize my feelings or alter or deny. I'm a bit freaked out now, scared and nervous. My low self-esteem patterns, because I do care what you think. And, you know, I hope that'll always be a part of me, because I want to, you know, do well for you, to let you know that my recovery, that I've worked this program. So, and my compliance patterns, I am capable of being in harmful situations. Here I am. And it's much better than my former harmful situations. And of course, my control patterns is, let me do it. Hopefully when I get to the end of tonight that you'll know that we're all doing it. Then I want to read something from the book. I don't make this stuff up. It actually says this in the book. Codependence is a disease that deteriorates our soul. It affects our personal lives, our families, our children, our friends and relatives, our businesses and careers, our health, and our spiritual growth. It is debilitating, and if left untreated, causes us to become more destructive to ourselves and others. Many of us come to a point when we must look beyond ourselves for help. I even looked at a coin this morning, and it said, "In God we trust." I thought it was only on a dollar bill, but it's on a penny and a nickel, too. So I brought a nickel with me. It also says that at CoDA meetings, we often hear people talk about other addictions, which I've already alluded to. Alcohol, drugs, food, gambling, spending, work, and my favorites, I didn't mean to put that, love and sex relationships. And the food thing, although I'm not, well, anyway, this is like a 6 Oreo talk. I was up and down, stealing my husband's Oreos, if the truth be known. Anyway, here I go. My name is Ellie, and I am a codependent. And some of you I know really well, and some of you, it's so nice to see so many good faces, new good faces, and recovering faces. And I'm not sure, I came into CoDA, I think in 2001, 2002. And in fact, I ran into my friend Maureen tonight, who brought me to my first CoDA meeting. I couldn't believe I ran into her. And she's not here, but she wishes me well. And she brought me here because I could not leave my son alone. Where are you going? What are you doing? Have you done your homework? I mean, drone. And I come from a family that, this is like My Mother, the sequel to I Am My Mother. I grew up with that. I grew up with a few different people. My mother comes from a very well-to-do family, and she's still thriving at 93, still doing the same things she's always done. And anyway, she came from a very nice, very upper-class family. And then my dad, who was a school teacher, came from a very blue-collar, working-class family. And the two families were just so different. And I really liked my dad's family. So we acted a certain way when we were with my dad's family. We acted a certain way when we were with my mom's family. And my girlfriend at work, we were talking about families, and she said, she told me of a story of her daughter who came home from school and stood in the doorway with tears in her eyes. And she said, "What's wrong with you, Alicia?" And she said, "Mom, I just want to be the same everywhere." And her daughter, she said, "What happened?" "Well, I was on the playground and I was playing with Janet. And Janet got mad at me because I was talking to Susie. So I had to pretend I didn't like Susie. And then the next day I'd play with Susie and I'd have to recreate, my friendship with this other woman. And she said, "I just want to be the same everywhere." She didn't want to have to pretend. I didn't want to pretend to be one person at my dad's family. I didn't want to pretend to be one person at my mother's family. But I really grew up conflicted, and it was very obvious that ran through my family. When you were reading about moderately dysfunctioning families or major dysfunction. I don't come from, I was telling Katie, I said, nobody shot anybody, there's been no drug abuse, there's no alcohol in my family. I come from like dysfunctional light. And, but enough to earn me my seat up here. And I come from a mom who nag. I hear comedians talking about nagging mothers, and I go, well, maybe this is not, maybe I'm making a bigger deal about this than I do. But I am, we never had an original thought in my family. We never had, if I wanted to wear the gray and white striped shirt, it was wrong. No, wear the pink and white one. And that's what that brought up for me tonight. And if I wanted to, go here, no, you can't go there. If my dad, mostly the dysfunction happened between seeing my mother and father in their relationship. I come from a long line of women who abuse men. Verbal abuse and, Estelle, let's do this. And my mother will look at my father and say, that's a terrible idea. So my dad would just kind of, slink away or just get quiet. My dad was great, quiet. And, he'd have another idea. And then it was just very uncomfortable growing up. There was bickering. There was just not a lot of room for growth in my family. And I got to go to college. And, it's so interesting when you're reading the avoidance patterns. It's like I wanted to go away, but yet I was afraid to go away. I wanted to be home. But I went away, and I only stayed away for 2.5 years. And then I came home, and I was too afraid to, my college lost its accreditation, so I came home, and I was applied to other schools, and I didn't want to go. So I stayed home. I lived at home for a year and went to secretarial school, and I lived in New Jersey, and I left home, and I went to a secretarial school, and I got a job in New York, and pretty high-powered job. I worked for a bunch of celebrities, and for a control freak, to be a private secretary to a celebrity is like, I have arrived. And you get to make the scheduling, you get to handle the phone calls, who gets to see you, who doesn't get to see you, and it was quite a job, quite a challenge. And then I moved to California and didn't know anybody out here, but continued to work for this person and managed everything. And after doing that for a while, one of my college roommate's boyfriend moved to California, and it was her fiance turned gay, and so we started hanging out together, and I had no relationships at all. I was too busy with work and frankly was just kind of afraid of getting involved in any relationship. So it was in the 60s, it was disco, it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and it was on. We had a ball, and I would just follow him from disco to disco and watched all the boys, dancing, having a good old time. And meanwhile, they all would have relationships, and I would just be discoing all the time. And I just couldn't find anybody to dance with me or like me. Then I thought, well, I'll try a girl, and I was a big flop as a lesbian, so that didn't work. Anyway, I failed to mention that I did meet my husband in college, and I fell in love with him from the minute I met him, and he went to Ohio to do his career, and I went off to California to do my career. But we had this vow. Who has a vow that if we're not married by the age of 40, we'll get married? So somebody that remains in harmful situations and lives on the edge. But anyway, I guess in late 70s, there was a knock at my door, and Stuart says, my parents are here. They're taking me to Hawaii for my 40th birthday. You want to get married? I still hadn't found a guy that I really loved. I certainly didn't find a girl. And so I said, yeah, I want to get married. I said, but I have to ask the guy that I'm living with to move out. So I did that. Anyway, Stuart and I did get married, and it was in the 70s. There was a lot of drugs. There was a lot of drinking, and I have to say I do like drugs, and I do like drinking, and I know this is a CoDA meeting. You people that don't drink and do drugs, I don't know how you just do CoDA stuff, but so anyway, my other addictions started, and I actually got into AA before I got into CoDA, not realizing that before I got to CoDA.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think.
My drinking got really bad. Stuart and I got married. That was really good. We've been married 25 years. We also have a child because I don't know why I had a child. I have no skills in that department. But I'm a codependent, and everybody else was having children, so that's what I did. And that's when my drinking really escalated. I was now at home with a newborn baby. I didn't know what to do. And my doctor recommended, maybe a little white wine. And I had already had a little white wine. But, I needed that stamp of approval. And what ended up happening to me was, I left out the part about the armed robber. Oh, well. That was pre-Stuart. I harbored a fugitive, but I'll talk to you about that later. Anyway, I had Max, who's now 24, and when he started elementary school, I started volunteering in the classroom, and I go, who's Max going to play with? Let me pick out who he's going to play with. And I am telling you, I was in that classroom, it was like I handpicked every friend Max ever had. I organized the play dates with the kids I wanted at my house, and I started doing the exact same thing to Max that my mother did to me. That's not who you should hang out with. This is who you should hang out with. I mean, even we would go shopping for tennis shoes. Oh, Mom, these black shoes are so cool. White really looks better with everything. And I mean, it's insidious, it's cunning, it's just, to really strip a child. I think you talked about this, about moms doing what they do, Tim, and it was off and running. My behaviors from home, manifested themselves into my... Thank you very much. Manifested into my upbringing of my child, and I completely, I'd say, crippled Max. He's really doing much better, although when he was in college in Seattle, he did call me from the side of the road and said, "Mom, I have a flat tire." And I went, so I go, "Stuart, it's Max, he's got a flat tire." And Stuart's going, "Oh my God, Stuart just can't believe what I've done to Max." But anyway, I am here to tell you I did not fly to Seattle. I said, "You know the AAA card I gave you before you left?" Yes, so he did take care of it, but it's so sad. He's better. I see my codependent behaviors in relationships he has now. I have, as a good codependent mom, have tried to get him into CoDA. However, we all know how that works. It's not working. But anyway, he's okay. I get to speak program to him. And if he listens, he listens. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. And he loves my mom, who's 93, and I gotta tell you, when I came into this program, I hope, anyway, I did not care. I really did not like my mom. I was just finished, and I did not care if my mom lived or died, and that's the honest to God truth. I just had it. It was over. I was starting to get recovery, and it was not working for me anymore, the constant negative stuff. So I started using the tools of the program. Instead of calling her every day to see how she was, I'd say, "Mom, I'm going to call you once a week." I knew I could handle once a week, and that was a big step for me. My mother is, I'm happy to say, I adore my mother. She is 93 years old. She's so well-read. She's interested in so many things, and she's still a pain in the ass. But I'm different, and she's not. Stuart and I were, I don't know where we were. Kathy, I know you heard this the other night. We were someplace, and this is just about a month ago, and I said something to my mother, and all of a sudden, I hear, "Stupid girl." And I go, "What did you say?" "Oh, nothing." And I looked at Stuart. It's like somebody who's farted and they won't admit they farted. So anyway, I said, "We heard what you said." "No, I didn't mean it." And it's like I'm becoming a duck. It rolls off my back. She can't help the way she is. I asked I was talking to my sister the other night, and I said, "Where was Mom when we were growing up?" And I said, there were 5 of us, and it's like I was an only child. My brother was off in his room. I don't know, he's my younger brother, and my sister was on the phone or putting on makeup, and I don't know what I was doing. I was trying to make friends. I remember going out. I had 3 friends, Suzanne Dahl, Susie Martin, and Janet Parker. And I'd line them all up. This was how I'd do my relationships. This is when I was a little girl. "Will you be my best friend? Will you be my best friend?" Just kind of get my ducks all in a row. And then I would feel whole because you'd be my best friend. And then I could go in the house and face whatever drama was going on there. After I had Max, I really, really started drinking a lot. And I know I'm skipping around a lot, but that's when my alcoholism took off. And I, getting back to the thing about I want to be the same everywhere. I was in this very high-powered job in New York City and then California, and had a lot of people that liked me, and I had absolutely no friends, because I know people just liked me because who I worked for. And then when I came to another job I worked for a talent and literary agency, had another group of friends who liked me because maybe I could get them a job. Then my husband, we came out here, and my husband had a job with a magazine and decided to start his own magazine. Well, I come from a home where you have a 9-to-5 job, you don't quit it, you work it, and even if you don't like it. And all of a sudden, my husband wanted to start his own magazine and do his own thing, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And that's when I started, I'd been in AA for a while, and I was so sick about this career change that was affecting me. It wasn't really, but that's how I felt at the time. And I had about 15 years sobriety, been working a good program, had kind of not been as rigorous about my CoDA program. And one day I came home and I had a drink. And that was 6 years ago. And I got myself back into the program and got myself back into CoDA really strong, and was able to kind of, build myself up again. Getting back to CoDA was huge for me. I got to start from the very beginning again. I was involved in some women's meetings in another program, in AA, and really saw it necessary for me. Although I love the mixed meetings, because I come from a long line of shut down men, so I love, to hear the men share and really talk about their feelings. And although I felt it was necessary for me, maybe because of my mother issues or whatever, to be surrounded by new moms. And so we started a women's meeting that has been so helpful to me. And my friend Jolene says, if you want what we have, you have to do what we do. And so I immediately, it was like a 1,000-piece puzzle, a landscape puzzle, and you see it in the store and you go, God, that's going to be hard. Wouldn't that be great to do? So I came back to CoDA almost like that puzzle, I'll do the corners first. Everybody starts with the corners, and no matter what you are, who you are. And then you do the straight edges, perfect, and now comes the hard part. And, my corners and edges were kind of, get a sponsor, go back to meetings, get into a women's group, call other people, talk to other people, call me. And the middle pieces, one piece at a time, were my steps for me. And I started, that first step was... I admitted I was powerless again, and my life was unmanageable again. I was just, my cover-up, even though I had a lot of issues about my husband and this new business. I was scared to death. My economic insecurity was rocked, and I didn't like new stuff. Why can't you just stay at your old shitty job? And but it was like... I was powerless. I was not honoring Stuart at all for his creativity, for what he needed to do. And what I ended up doing was, it was like driving in a snowstorm and you're, oh my God, you're skidding, you're going into the snowbank, and you have to kind of overcorrect, so you don't completely take a dive. And so that was my first step, that big overcorrection, that I had not done. I had not honored Stuart and what he did. It was all about me, don't you know? And the step 2, I kept thinking, how could I have relapsed in CoDA? How could I have relapsed in AA? And I was so disconnected from my higher power. Nothing had on it in God We Trust. I mean, I was in like this emotional blackout. And I think for me, it was like, after I took my drink, after I used my son to kind of shield me from what was going on in my husband's business life, I thought, I have no higher power anymore. And so once I realized that, I was able to return to get back my sanity. Step 3, I wanted my God back. There was no denying that. And there's even and then I recited the 3rd step CoDA prayer. God, I give to you all that I am and all that I will be for your healing and direction. Make new this day as I release all my worries and fears, knowing that you are by my side. Please help me to open myself to your love, to allow your love to heal my wounds, and to allow your love to flow through me and from me to those around me. May your will be done this day and always. And then step 4 was really good for me. I mean, just kind of throwing down the gauntlet, and I was ready. And step 5, I could hardly wait to get to my sponsor's arms, and just lay it all out. Step 6, my character defects were back. And step 7, I honored all those shortcomings. I was ready to do the work. And then came the miracle. I received a miraculous change in my life by working the program of Codependence Anonymous. And slowly but surely, the promises started coming true for me. I had a new amends list, that I didn't have before. I was now able to keep current by recognizing certain CoDA behaviors that I didn't recognize before. And step 11, I had somebody introduce me to meditation practice, and I was able to get current. I love that 11-step meditation that you're going to do this weekend, and I'm hoping to be a part of that. And of course, that step 12, that we're here all together tonight is really, what a gift. I was given this story the other day, and I'm going to end with this. It's an autobiography in 5 short chapters by Portia Nelson. Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in it. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. And chapter 5, I walked down another street.
I think we got a great talk going on here. Thanks for watching the channel. Taper Dave here. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down. And then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. And if that shows up, the gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.